Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. In this short video, I will be explaining to you how to prepare for a successful teaching practice. Teaching practice is the equivalent of internship in the medical line. It gives you opportunity to bring together all that you have learned as a pre-service teacher in a real classroom setting. You will observe that most of the feedback you have received concerning the examination you have written in various courses is usually an A or a B or a C, your score, your percentage. But teaching practice exercise gives you an opportunity to enhance the process of teaching and learning directly, and you will get immediate feedback on how you wrote your lesson notes, how you deliver the instruction, how you question the learner, and so many other things. All that you have learned in the department where you are offering your cognate courses, that means your teaching subject, the content knowledge that you are bringing from your secondary school, and all the things that you have learned in the method courses are brought together and you enact them in a real life situation. The preparation required for this process, there are 4 in number, basically. The first one is curriculum mastery. The second one is classroom management. The third one is lesson planning. And the fourth one is the assessment technique. Now, talking about the curriculum mastery, you will understand that the mastery of the curriculum is the foundation for effective teaching. And if you have offered methodology courses, that means teaching methods of different subjects, how to teach them, you will notice that one of the key parts of the course or courses is to show you the curriculum, how it is structured, the cross-curricular connections between different topics, while this topic is first. And you would have also offered courses related to curriculum directly, science curriculum, teaching curriculum, and all the courses that are related to the curriculum that we are being exposed to. Within the frame of these courses, you would be able to know why you are teaching the topic, what the topic is having the role to do in the entire curriculum. So you will need the curriculum as a document. You will need a textbook. The textbook writers now, they have the content of the curriculum already written and the objective at times written. And you will also need to check your cooperating teacher's lesson notes to see so that you will be able to recognize the reason the topic is in the curriculum and why is in that particular position. How is it connected to other topics and the relevance? So you may also need a scheme of work. You may also need to be aware of the curriculum expectation. That means, what is the standard that a learner must attain at the end of going through that curriculum? We have many standards. That's why they said there are 3 curriculum: the designed curriculum, the implemented curriculum, and the attained curriculum. When you have a curriculum that you have interacted with well, you will have the basic understanding of why you are teaching this topic in SS1, why is it connected to the next topic, why is it connected to the whole subject, what are the concepts and potential misconceptions of the students, and how you can use the curriculum. So the mastery of the curriculum is number 1. So I suggest you get the curriculum of your subject and you go through it, so that you can have the idea of why that curriculum is like that and the purpose of the curriculum. Regarding the content you are teaching. For instance, some content They have cross curricular um, curricular expectation. What I mean is that within the curriculum that we are using, some contents actually have implications in another content of another subject or in another topic. So, for instance, when we talk about um, things around cell environment in biology, you have to also deal with it with the cell and all of those things. So you must know how connected the processes are. This will give you leverage. So you need to know, where should I stop. That curriculum mastery will tell you where to stop. In fact, some textbook they already have the objectives of a particular topic written. So you will have the understanding of where to stop and what to do as far as the curriculum mastery is concerned. So you need to know that one. And I have told you the material you will need. You may have to also reflect on your teaching method courses, your courses related to curriculum, and you should also have the curriculum of the subject that you are teaching. The next thing is the classroom management, creating a positive learning environment. You are a new person in the process of teaching and learning. And as a result of that, um, there is a mindset that you go with to actually, uh, how do I put it now? To depict how the classroom should look like, you know, um, what you expect in a classroom, but you will not get that one. You may expect people to pay attention to details, but you will not get that classroom that you anticipate. You may get a chaotic one that you will need the skills of observing uh, your cooperating teacher to actually um, regulate. In some instances, you may be in classroom that most of the people there are even they are almost your age mate, older than you. Some of them may even have height that is big, that towers yours, and so much more. But you need to encourage the desired behavior through praise and reward, and know how to do conflict resolution. If you are in the pre-primary or primary, oh, this person has stolen my pencil and all of that, you need to know how to resolve that. But you should not forget the ethics of not talking to the board, the ethics of um, knowing how to ask question. You call your question first. You look around before you call a name, not a name, then the question. The ethics of not uh, staying glued to one side of the classroom. So much of this you would have learned around the time. So the next thing is the lesson planning, and there are a lot of um, things that you need to learn. But in the course of this video, I will restrict myself to um, the lesson planning as it relates to the objective of the lesson, the selected activities, which could be procedure, and preparing materials, and the planned assessment. You would have to realize that without a when you have 5 objectives, you have to think about it that the activities or the procedures that will make you to implement those 5 objectives must also be clearly stated, because when your supervisor comes around to check um, your lesson notes and you write the first objective is that the learners should be able to define um, scarcity. Let me put it like that. The next thing is the person will be looking for is that what is the activity that matches that objective? Is it that the teacher presents the lesson defining scarcity, or the teacher presents a scenario and asks the learner to explain what is taking place there? So it has to match. The same thing with the material. If there will be um, materials required, the material required for that objective one should also be available and readily documented. I will not go into the details of the structure of the lesson plan, but these four parts are very important, and which is the objective, the selected activities, which are the procedures or steps that you will use, because the procedures are actually or activities, they are steps that you carry out to achieve that objective, and the materials are the resources required to achieve that objective. And plan assessment is the steps we are carrying out to measure whether the objective is anytime you have an objective and the content or the activity is not depicting the objective clearly, there will be a problem, because checking your plan, it will not be matching as it was. So it is very important. Then you have to measure your own growth as well as the learner's growth. What I mean is that from the feedback that you get from your cooperating teacher, you must be able to get formative assignment assessment that's ongoing. What are you improving on? What are the learners improving on? Summative assessment to evaluate your overall learning. Differentiated assessment strategy for diverse learners and providing learner clear and actionable feedback is both ways for. And the teaching practice exercise require you to build professional relationship. It is not ethical for you to be building relationships that are platonic. You know, maybe you see a young guy in that school or a young girl and you started a plan. No, what you should desire is professional relationship. That means number one, with your method teacher, which is your cooperating teacher. The role of this cooperating teacher is very significant. You could look at his own lesson note or her own lesson notes. Other school staffs, such as administrator, colleagues, how do they mark attendance? If they are during the entire sport, you could see one or two things they are doing outside the normal curricular activities. Then you may even be privileged to interact with parents and guardians. All these experiences are very important. Look at the medical internship. The intern doctor will relate with patient, will relate with the patient's family and relative, will relate with his teacher, will relate with nurses, will relate with the lab people and all of those things. So these are very important that you should not say. Then it is very important to do continuous self-assessment so that you can know whether you are growing. You know, apart from the grade that the you will get, you must reflect personally, and you have to observe first. You observe the classroom dynamics, pay attention to what students do, what they didn't do, implement changes and new approaches if you have one. If you see something work, analyze what worked and what didn't work and why. You have to reflect, Let me quickly break this down. I will do it better in the next video. The instruction that we have during the teaching practice, our teaching generally, we have three stages of preparation. We have the pre-instructional preparations. That means the activity that you do before you go to class to teach. This involves checking the lesson note, preparing the materials. Then we have the instruction preparation. That means within the instruction, as you ask questions, you'll be adjusting one thing or the other. Maybe you ask a question that you thought should be a previous knowledge and the student don't have it. You will begin to adjust and you will now be forced to teach the new thing. So all these are um, um, taking place while delivering the instruction. So within, after the instructional preparation, we have the delivery of instruction. And the final one is the post-instructional engagement, whereby you would reflect on what happened, what worked, what did not work, why didn't it work. One of the stories I always love to uh, illustrate is somebody teaching the nomadics, the children of nomad mathematics, and the person wanted to use their daily experience to actually illustrate subtraction and addition. And he said, if you have 100 cow and one of them, or 10 cow, and one of them crosses the road or goes to this way, how many will remain on this side? And the nomad boy said, none, because all of them will follow the first one. So after that instruction, the teacher will reflect on, oh, it is, if I will rely on what the learner knows, given the principle of going from known to unknown, what they know may not be useful for me in terms of an analogy for mathematics teaching. So what I have to do now is to actually look at what exactly will work for them. Then the next one is that you have to plan strategy for the future lessons. And one of the things you have to do is to leverage on technology in the classroom, but it depends on the type of school that you are. Some of the schools have poor facilities, most especially the public schools. So you may need technology for your pre-instructional preparation, but while you are executing the instruction, you may actually uh, require no technology because there's no way to implement it. But if you're in the private school and the resources are available, there are so many things to take um, from. So as I conclude this video, I want you to understand that being the impact of preparedness is very critical in terms of teaching practice exercise. You have to ensure that this process leads to increase in confidence for you, enhance student learning, and make sure you develop uh, professional growth. See you in my next video.